Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Boeing.
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 Plane crash.
Plane crash.
Plane crash.
Plane crash.
What happens when the very machines meant to carry us safely through the sky become instruments of our demise? Boeing, an American icon, finds itself under a harsh spotlight as evidence mounts, suggesting negligence and a chilling disregard for safety in the pursuit of profit. But before the investigations, before the headlines, there was a warning. One voice, that of John Barnett, rose from within, pointing to the fatal flaws. His reward for speaking truth? Silence. A silence that screams of corporate crime. At the Holiday Inn, 301 Savannah Highway, an orange Dodge Ram sat alone in the parking lot. Inside, a Boeing whistleblower, John Barnett, was discovered unresponsive.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
301 Savannah Highway.
Tell me exactly what happened.
I just had a guest call in, or a gentleman call in wanting to do a wellness check on a room. We went up to the room, couldn't locate him, went out to go look at his vehicle, and the gentleman is in the driver's seat. I'm not sure if he's unconscious or asleep, but he has a firearm in his hand.
Barnett had been seen entering the hotel and later his truck. He entered his truck and never got back out. He sat with the engine running for approximately 11 hours. Police arrived to find the vehicle locked and a gun in his right hand, his index finger still on the trigger. A small journal lay open on the passenger seat. A gunshot wound was confirmed at his right temple. The police report, labeled Exhibit B, detailed the scene. The gun in his hand, the journal on the seat, the gunshot wound. The suicide note, also part of Exhibit B, expressed intense frustration and anger directed at Boeing and the system meant to protect whistleblowers. Everyone believed he had intentionally taken his own life. The police investigation was closed, but a note found at the scene contained a chilling message. And 1 year later, Barnett's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit, claiming this was far from a simple suicide.
On the death of John Barnett.
State is accusing Boeing of abuse of process and wrongful death.
They've now released video surveillance to back up their claims that Barnett was alone.
Who was John Barnett, and what exactly was he trying to warn us about? John Barnett was a Boeing employee who had raised significant safety concerns about the company's aircraft manufacturing practices. The family questioned the timing of his death occurring during critical legal proceedings related to his whistleblower claims. This timing fueled suspicions that there was more to the story than a simple act of despair. Who were the key players at Boeing who might have had a motive? Top executives, including current CEO David Calhoun, former CEO Dennis Muilenburg, who led the company during the 737 MAX crisis, come into focus.
Retaliating against whistleblowers.
Senator, I don't have that number on the tip of my tongue, but I know it. I know it happens.
Congressman, I am accountable, sir.
Could external entities like the FAA, which certified the aircraft Barnett warned about, have played a role? The FAA had certified planes Barnett warned about, and Boeing continued to secure government contracts even after safety allegations surfaced.
After this horrific 2 accidents that caused all these people's relatives to go, to disappear, to die, you're not taking a cut in pay at all?
You're getting paid $33 million a year.
Every time I'd raise my hand and say, hey, we got a problem here, they would attack the messenger and ignore the message.
Newest arrival in the Boeing family of airliners, the 737 attracts a crowd. Its engines with 14,000 pounds of thrust can move the ship to a cruising speed of 580 miles an hour. Carrying 101 passengers, a new queen of the skies.
Companies in the United States. They have an enormous presence in Washington, D.C. that derives from the fact that the company can single-handedly sway the American economy.
Executives reportedly received millions in bonuses tied to production goals, while Boeing secured billions in federal contracts.
Each time one tries to get an advantage, a competitive advantage in range and operating cost, in weight, wherever they can get it, they will take that, and the other one is then forced into a follow-up.
Also new this morning, another lawsuit against Boeing, this time involving its shareholders. Boeing is accused of putting profitability ahead of honesty.
The health crisis is unlike anything we have ever experienced. In the U.S. alone, more than 2,800 airplanes have been idled.
We heard from a lot of shareholders inside the meeting today who did raise issues surrounding the MAX.
He became a mere talking point, and whistleblowers like Barnett were seen as threats rather than crucial voices of caution.
What can you tell us in terms of what was told to the pilots and the airlines?
Is the 737 MAX is safe.
The statement coming from Boeing, safety is Boeing's #1 priority. We have full confidence in the safety of the MAX.
Safety is a core value for us at Boeing. It always has been, and we ensure that our airplanes are safe. I think it's really important, again, the bottom line here is the 737 MAX is a very safe airplane.
Passengers concerned about flying on your planes?
We fly safe planes. We don't put airplanes in the air that we don't have 100% confidence in.
The Boeing saga this past year is an example of how not to handle a crisis. This brand new plane crashed twice in the span of about 5 months.
They did not build in margin for human error.
Today, it has lost a lot of credibility.
Amid fierce global pressure and political alarms at home, the president finally called it.
We're going to be issuing an emergency order of prohibition to ground all flights of the 737 MAX 8 and the 737 MAX 9.
Boeing reportedly knew about the problems with the 737 MAX safety alert system for a year.
Did Boeing actively work to silence whistleblowers like Barnett through threats or career repercussions?
And another Boeing whistleblower says they warned Boeing of flaws in the company's 787 planes. A mechanic says he was fired a few months after filing that complaint.
Calhoun admitted employees have been fired in the past for being whistleblowers.
Are these planes safe?
I was told, frankly, to shut up. We have faulty engineering that, they're trying to shove on our throats. The airplanes are not being built per spec.
And the company's response to you was to threaten you?
Threaten you, sideline you.
How significant is it to have it fall like that?
It's the equivalent of a plane falling out of the sky.
To do a better job of making sure its pilots understood exactly what to do in case the aircraft was performing in a unique, unusual way, and how to get out of the problem.
A former chief technical pilot for Boeing has been indicted for fraud by a grand jury in Texas. Mark Faulkner is accused of giving false information to the Federal Aviation Administration and faces 2 counts of the same charge.
This case raises a chilling question. Is this an isolated incident, or does it reflect a broader pattern of corporate malfeasance, where safety is secondary to profit? What loopholes allow corporations to operate this way?
In fact, those laundromats are part of the reason for the name of this activity. Currencies, offshore banking, the dark net. Legally obtained money is converted into assets that seem legitimate. No one knows for sure the total amount of money that's laundered on a yearly basis, but some organizations estimate it to be in the hundreds of billions of dollars.
The critical turning point appears to be the catastrophic failures linked to the safety issues Barnett raised, making the concerns undeniably public. Barnett himself, along with other whistleblowers and investigative journalists, played a crucial role in bringing these issues to light.
People who work for Boeing, who then go into the FAA,
You also see people at the FAA looking to go into Boeing. And what ends up happening is the FAA really becomes part of the Boeing team.
Of 15 workers asked randomly, 10 said they would not fly on the Dreamliner.
I won't fly one of these planes because I see the quality going down around here.
You won't fly in one. Did you fly one of these planes?
I formally warned Boeing leadership in writing on multiple occasions, specifically once before the Lion Air crash and again before the Ethiopian Airlines crash about potential airplane risk. Those warnings were ignored.
The whole time we were there, Boeing knowingly knew that Spirit was sending fuselages with many defects, many of them, bad. They knew that. They were aware of it.
50,000 parts?
That's what we counted at the time.
It seems like a heck of a lot.
It's a heck of a lot indeed.
What does that say to you?
Well, that says it puts people's lives at risk, not just passengers, but flight crews. And a lot of these are flight critical parts.
From day one, it's just all been about schedule and hurry up and just get it done, push the planes out, we're behind schedule. We don't have time to worry about issues that y'all bring up.
Since his departure, he has taken legal action against the company, claiming he was retaliated against for raising safety issues internally, issues that Boeing denied at the time.
Between me and you, they didn't put a shim on the landing gear yesterday on the lug. Night shift didn't. Oh, they said we don't have time to put it on.
Called our safety experts and said, "Where is this in the book?" And they said, "It's not." And I said, "Well, does our airline, American, have it?" "No." And we learned later that no one across the globe had it in their books. It's unacceptable.
I think it's really important, again, the bottom line here is the 737 MAX is a very safe airplane.
It was the first time Boeing visited APA headquarters. When we saw the list of the Boeing personnel coming, the one thing that really jumped off the page was they were bringing their lawyer. So, who brings a lawyer to a safety?
It pushes the nose down, down, down. Pilots trim it up, down, up. 24 times in the next 6 minutes. Pilots would be experiencing is literally a battle for their and their passengers' lives.
And should trim it forward again.
We deserve to know from our airplanes. We flat out deserve to know what is on our airplanes.
No one has yet concluded that the sole cause of this was dysfunction of the airplane.
These guys didn't even know the damn system was on the airplane.
This morning, Boeing has agreed to plead guilty. Court documents indicate Boeing would pay an additional $235 million fine.
FAA is proposing a $5.4 million civil penalty against Boeing.
Boeing is now a convicted felon. The company has pled guilty to criminal fraud and will pay more than $240 million in fines.
Boeing agreed to pay $2.5 billion in both penalties and damages to victims' families. It is estimated that Boeing paid $20 billion in fines, legal fees, and court settlements.
Would a name change, I'm asking you guys this, would a name change of the plane that crashed twice simply be enough, or does the 737 MAX need to outright end production?
Did you ever consider resigning?
No. It's important that I continue to lead the company and lead in a way that's consistent with our values.
Another big story we are following tonight. Boeing has fired its CEO, Dennis Muilenburg. The world's largest aerospace company has had its reputation and bottom line.
Breaking news from Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun will step down at the end of this year.
Them notice that at the end of this year, I plan to retire.
Ultimately, the real losers appear to be the victims and the public trust in critical industries.
Between these two incidents, over 300 people died, causing immeasurable pain to their families.
It left a total of 346 people dead. Clarice Moore mourned the loss of her 24-year-old daughter, Danielle.
We don't want the plane to be on the air because it could be you. It could be your loved one.
Where is the justice for us? I am having nightmare every single day. Did she call for me? Did she know that she's dying?
Tonight, global grief and so many questions about what brought down Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302. 157 people, all lost.
A mother wonders why her young son was killed. She'd take his place, but there are no answers yet.
I did not only lost my daughter, I lost my past, my today, my future. I want to open up that coffin. I want to see her. I want to hug her. I want to smell her. I want to kiss her. I want to dance with her. I want to hear her voice.
Gonna miss the way you walk, gonna miss the way you talk, but you know you're gonna miss me when I'm gone.
I think if this hadn't have gone on so long, I'd still have my son. My sons would still have their brother, and we wouldn't be sitting here.
Did Barnett and other victims truly receive justice? And have the necessary changes been implemented to prevent this from happening again?
Boeing is now required to have a mandatory safety management system. The FAA will make sure that Boeing makes lasting changes using all the tools at their disposal. They have also committed to increasing employee training and communication, strengthening the anonymous reporting system that employees can use without fear of reprisal, making sure that things happen in the right sequence at every step of production, and getting more input from users of the system, including pilots.
Boeing, while facing public scrutiny and management changes, remains a major industry player.
The eyes of the airline world are focused on Boeing and the FAA to make sure the 737 MAXs in production are produced without flaws. 2 months after the Alaska Airlines panel blew out, the National Transportation Safety Board chair criticized the company for its lack of cooperation in the MAX 9 probe.
FAA auditors found 97 instances of Boeing non-compliance when they inspected the factory where the aircraft were built. Once more, the talk online was about avoiding Boeing aircraft when booking flights, and people who took little interest in aviation knew what a Boeing 737 MAX was. On the same day, a second incident occurred 600 miles northwest of Nagoya and left passengers bleeding and in a state of shock. As the aircraft flew over Jeju Island, the flight crew noticed a cabin pressure abnormality. This was followed by an error report from the aircraft's cabin pressurization system.
While some regulatory changes have occurred, the fundamental question remains: how many more potential corporate crimes are happening right now, hidden behind closed doors?